The moment is here, you can stop your search. It's Comics by Perch.
Hey everybody, this is Perch. I'm starting this video over again. I started it and was off to a good steam, but then I had to re-record. Hey, this video contains nuance, so trigger warning. I know that really frustrates people from time to time. But I live not necessarily by choice, but because I don't see an alternative. I live in a world of facts. And when you try and deal with facts, you have to come to one kind of unpleasant and horrifying realization if you're going to live in that world, which is sometimes the facts are not in your favor. Sometimes they're not what you like. As an example, most of the music, I do not like Henry Styles. I find him unlistenable, and Ed Sheeran pretty much right there too. Taylor Swift, not a big fan. And yet, those three individuals seem to be doing pretty okay financially. I can go down the list of all the, I admit, I've become one of those people where a lot of popular, current, new music sucks. Post Malone's got some stuff that I like that. I think he's got some okay stuff. But Lizzo, no thank you. Nope, never going to go for that. But this is just kind of the way of things. And I think if there's one bit that social media and then COVID, where people are like contained, we seem to lose perspective of that is, sometimes there are things people really, really like that we don't, and that's just how it is, and it's okay. You don't have to be bothered by that. I knew somebody who worked in the shop who hated the Super Bowl and hated football in general. And so every time it would get into the playoffs, and Seattle as a market was, at that time was pretty intense about their football because the team was doing well. That it would drive this person insane every time. And it's like, dude, it's very easy not to watch. And so you can express, I don't like it, but you can't let it, be a thorn in your side. And this person was convinced that the NFL was actually not popular. And people were, he grabbed onto that Colin Kaepernick, thing. And it's like, the government is funding the NFL. They're paying people to sit in those seats. I don't know if you've ever gone to a football game, a pro football game. If there's a team out there where they'll pay for you to come and sit in those seats, please let me know, because I've taken a few clients to Seahawks games, but I will tell you they did not pay for those tickets, and I wish they would have. I was with a company where they had a box, and we would go to the box from time to time, and that fucker was expensive. That's all I know. Anyway, it's just kind of the way it is. What's going on right now, and I'll bring this up. It's not strictly comics related, but I do think it fits a lot of what happens in comics, which is kind of things could be in decline, but the exaggeration kind of diminishes the point. So there's this situation right now where Bud Light hired, or I can't even tell what actually happened in terms of the business deal that took place. But basically, there's this Dylan trans dresses up like I don't know the best way to describe it. There's like an actress that Dylan dresses up like, and she is trans. I was unclear, by the way, in some of the reporting, is Dylan actually transitioning or is it more cross-dressing? I couldn't, but I think there's now it's trans. So anyway, Bud Light gave Dylan some cans with Dylan's face on it. The face looked hideous. Didn't look like the Dylan. And they hired Dylan to do some web ads, or I can't even quite ascertain what business deal took place. At any rate, they hired Dylan to be an influencer. So, she is a. I don't know. I don't even know what the point of this thing was. But anyway, so money exchanged hands. Dylan promoted the stuff, and there was a backlash of this. I mean, partially in the, I think, didn't this land during Women's Month as well, which was another kind of, that's kind of the ongoing topic of debate that's going on in the whole trans debate at this point. But anyway, and the Dylan character is this over the top kind of caricature, and that's why I was trying to remember the actress that Jay will come to me after the video's over. But anyway, it's kind of this over the top performance, kind of outside of the trans bit. The character is like super like hyper and it's somewhere between like acting like an 8-year-old girl and just like somebody on crack. It's just like that. That has nothing to do with the appearance as much as just the personality, which is super amped up. So anyway, they did this, and then there was a backlash. People are like, I don't know, Kid Rock, shot some cans with this gun. Did he have those cans already? Did he go buy the cans or shoot them? It's unclear. And what one of the Travis Tritt, I think, a country performer, said, we're not going to carry Bud Light on the tour. Again, I'm not sure that the impact of that is not going to be on the sales for the tour, because reality, I mean, how much beer is he carting around? I mean, I don't know. It's a country singer, maybe quite a lot, but more than that, it's the it's the fans of Travis Tritt hearing like he's out on this beer. So I think that's the bigger impact there, less than him not buying the beer. It's more kind of what message that sends to the fans. And the demographic for Bud Light, I don't know, probably, leans more country. It's a cheaper beer. It's, and I don't say that as disparaging anybody from the South. It's just, I'm living down here in Texas right now. People do like their beer. I like beer. But people aren't going to like craft beer. Like in Seattle, you had these little microbreweries and everybody's like, ooh, it's a small batch tasting. Like that's a lot less popular down. And then the beer is like $20. And by contrast, you can go to Twin Peaks and get boobs and like a giant ass beer for $1. So, I mean, it's just, it's a different demographic it's appealing to. And it's probably a demographic that's not too super excited by a very high caricature, trans influencer talking about the beer. It's not a good match. Unless Bud Light is thinking, I'll get people in like San Francisco to start drinking our beer, which I think is a lost cause. I don't know why you do that in the first place, but whatever. So this happened, and because trans issues are high click articles right now. There's something that leaked from Fox News talking about how they try to make sure they have some trans story every single day because it's just clickbait. People it always gets attention no matter what's going on, even if there's not news. So they're trying to go for as much as they can with this. And so Fox pushes this thing out saying, Budweiser's stock has tumbled. It's in a free fall. And they show this graph. And one of the biggest misleading things that CNN does, Fox does, all of them do it, is they show this graph, but they show the range. The important thing I always look in any graph, and you should learn this trick too, is go to the side and look at whether it starts the vertical number there, and look if it starts at 0 or if it starts higher up. Now, analysts will sometimes, they'll just want to show the movement in a stock, so they'll show a limited range. But understand that if you zoom into one range, it's going to look more dramatic in terms of ups and downs than if you zoomed out and looked at the thing from just 0 to 100. So Anheuser-Busch, the stock is InBev. So if you want to go look at this yourself, INBEV. You can go, if you have an iPhone, go to stocks right now, check it out. They're looking at the last several days. So basically from April 6th to April 13th. And on April 6th, the stock was $67. And here comes the tumble free fall. On April 13th, it's $65. So basically the stock dropped $2 and change. That's not a tumble. It's just not. And then here's the part that's the misleading part, which is, the facts of the situation is you zoom out and you look at year to date, meaning, or the last 6 months. You see that in October of 2022, InBev stock was at below $50, about $46. And then today it's at $65. So it's grown almost $20 a share in 6 months. Now, if you bought stock back in October, you are doing well today. You have made money today. It is that look, anyone in their right mind wishes they had Budweiser stock that they bought last year. The stock's doing great. You go back 3 years, no, it's up and down. But I mean, again, look at any stock and you can see where things are at. But basically, in the last year, InBev's done well. The events of the last week, because of this influencer, is not causing the stock to free fall or crash or tumble. It's just not. By facts, it's not. Now, by the way, what I just said has nothing to do with, was it a good move? Is it going to hurt them long term? Probably. It's going to hurt Bud Light, the brand, I think, because it's they picked a marketing campaign that is, whether they like it or not, it's contrary to kind of their audience. So, by the way, all of this ignores the fact that it's, terrible piss water of a beer. But anyway, I sound like a snob when I say stuff like that. Sapporo, that's it. Anyway, that's actually not that much better, but it's still good. I don't know what, I mean, the interesting part too is if you look at the volume, and the volume means how many people are buying and selling stock. It's the amount of turnover that's happening in the market. The volume is really high. Lots of people are selling and buying their stock right now. So that indicates a couple things. It does mean that there are people, correct to the news reporting, that are selling off their stock. And maybe they're probably, because of the timing in this moment, they're selling it off because they're like, I don't like this trans influencer that you've hired. I don't like it. However, the high volume indicates that there are people coming in right after that going, oh, I'm going to buy this on the, I believe that this is a good moment to buy in. And if you're an investor, that makes some logical sense. And I'll explain why. If you look at the last year and you look at the rise of stock and everything else, a stock that is growing steadily, you don't want to buy, you want to buy in the valley. You don't want to buy at the top. And so the stock showing a little bit of a dip basically caused a bunch of people to buy in. If you go back to February of this year, you also see some high volume and the stock dropped a bit. And that was another indication that some people went out and more people went in, hoping that this climb would still continue. Now we'll have to check in 6 months from now and see what happened. Maybe the stock will free fall from here, but the reporting of the stock has crashed and it's tumbled is a complete and absolute lie. It's just not true. Once again, that does not mean this was a good move. It doesn't mean people aren't upset. They are, sure. And it's not good to provoke your fan base. It's just, that's dumb. But to come out, I mean, there's a way you can report on this story to say, this is a bad move because it irritates and isolates the core buying audience of this beer, and it's going to hurt them long term. I think that would be an honest and accurate statement. I no disagreement with that statement. However, the statement of the stock's in free fall and tumbling and the company's in a panic mode, no fucking way. Sorry. I don't know what's going on. Maybe they're in a panic mode behind the scenes, but not because of the stock. So that's where you have a situation that you can report on accurately, but you took an easy, dumb way out, and you said something that was just flatly not true. And that is the part that hangs me up. So I said this video is going to be about some nuance. That's the nuance for you. The nuance is not everything is as it seems. If you truly want to make money, and this is where, people who are wealthy, people who are good investors, people who figure things out, they don't get hung up in this kind of bullshit. They instead look at the numbers, they look at the volumes, they make choices. I guarantee you, there are some rightist of the right wing, pro-Trump, anti-trans people out there who are putting their money in Bev right now because from a market perspective, could be a good buy because it's having a little micro dip, a dip of $2. If you believe that the next 6 months are going to, continue the growth of the last 6, then that'll be a good investment. If you believe this is a tipping point that's going to cause everything to collapse, well, then you obviously don't put your money in. But that's the game that's being played right now. So I say this from this perspective of the same thing is often true with comics. And I want to point out, by the way, I posted some of this on Twitter, and some guy came in and wanted to kind of refute the point. But I really appreciate the way that this guy did it. So I think Twit acts. Anyway, he laid out his case and he did it respectfully, and it wasn't a fuck you, Perch, or Fence Sitter. It was actually a guy was respectful, put it out, explained his point, tied it into comics, and I wish more discussions and arguments would take place this way. So good for him or her, I don't know. But this is it's well reasoned. the fact that, and I said, thank you for laying out your case. I appreciate it. And I tried to explain what I did. I then got a mail saying, our little direct message saying, by saying you appreciate this guy's case, it sounds like you're anti-trans. It's like, no, I'm being polite, you jackass. That's what's wrong with you. Just be polite to each other. I mean, especially if somebody's polite to you. Whether you agree with them, disagree with them. And I think this guy laid out some good points. Be kind. What the hell's wrong? You don't have to be a prick. You gotta wake up and you can't be nice to those people. I remember about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I don't remember. It was when the there are literal Nazis thing got really going on Twitter. And there was this punch a Nazi. And it was like, you are completely within your rights. If somebody is being a Nazi, you can punch them. Hate, we won't tolerate hate. Well, I hate to break it to you, but you can't just run around punching people. If somebody's actually declaring war on the country, like the Nazis did through Germany, then absolutely you can go punch them because we're at war. But in general, if somebody has an opinion that's absolutely abhorrent, you hate it. You disagree. They're doing something you think is hateful and dangerous and bad. Responding by trying to clubber it out of them with your fists, first of all, you're not actually going to do that. That's a bunch of Twitter boasting. It's not real. But it's not even about you or the person you're punching. It's about the audience watching two people act like jackasses. Because you are. I know this is super boring, and this is a very dad-like comment, but the whole, you remember when your parents used to say, don't lower yourself to their level? There is some truth to that. There just is. It is better, always better, if you find somebody, the best way to starve the oxygen out of somebody who's being a prick is don't engage. To move on. Getting in there and like, I'm going Nazi hunting. Who was that idiot on Twitter? Renfamous. Renfamous is like I'm making it a business to go out there and punch Nazis. No, you're not. Hey, first of all, you get winded if you try to even throw a punch. But second, like that's just again, you're creating a Twitter persona, which anyone can see through. It's just it's an act, and you're not actually doing any good. You're not. Sarcastic, bitchiness does no world good. It's good for you. You get likes and dopamine out of it. But you're not actually helping anything. So just thank you very much to this dialogue. It was fine. And, facts are facts. They just are. It's crazy. Thanks for listening.